A Bill Gates financially backed experiment plans to cool down the Earth by reflecting sunlight in a hope to slow down climate change. What the f***? Let's have a little buzz about. Yeah, you heard that correctly. The carbon footprint stumping Microsoft billionaire has put money behind the development of a sun-dimming technology. You can't take him anywhere. Harvard University scientists will carry out a stratospheric controlled perturbation experiment, also known as
Scopex,
by spraying non-toxic calcium carbonate dust into the atmosphere to reflect sunlight that may offset the effects of global warming. So basically, they're going to explode a big balloon filled with 2 kilograms of chalk dust 12 miles into the air, creating a big blanket a couple of meters wide and block out some sunlight. The experiment will take place this June in Sweden near the town of Kiruna with the help of the Swedish Space Corporation and gather information on how particles of dust react with the air. Critics of the dust cloud experiment fear that if successful, it could give politicians a get out of jail card into properly tackling climate change. But there is also a fear that this sort of geoengineering could play havoc with the Earth's weather systems. You don't say. With a University of Cambridge professor saying,
"It could be disastrous for weather systems in ways nobody can predict, so data should be gathered through modeling and other techniques."
The estimated $3 million mission has also been criticised by an Edinburgh University professor, saying that blocking the sun would do nothing to remove the main cause of global warming and that
it would cool the planet by reflecting solar radiation, but once you're on to that, it's like taking heroin, you've got to carry on doing the drug to keep on having the effect.
Heavy stuff.
So if it wouldn't help the main cause of global warming, then why are they doing it? It's so confusing.
The situation that we're facing here in the US. If you missed the last video, there has been an alert put out in terms of a fuel shortage and a massive cyber attack that hit the largest pipeline in the United States.
Comes to climate change, Bill Gates wants people to think of two numbers, 51 billion and 0. 51 billion is the number of tons of greenhouse gases typically added to the atmosphere every year because of human activities. 0 is the number of tons we need to get to by 2050 in order to avoid a climate crisis. Gates has released a new book detailing his plan to get to 0 tons called How to Avoid a Climate Disaster, the Solutions We Have, and the Breakthroughs We Need. His breakdown of how we get to 51 billion tons of greenhouse gases each year puts goods production, as well as generating and transmitting electricity, at the top. The rest is divided among transportation, raising animals, forestry, and temperature control systems. Last year, Gates suggested the US should create a National Institutes of Energy Innovation to help the country take the lead in climate change innovation. Gates says currently about $7 billion a year of government money gets spent on research and development for energy innovation, compared to $37 billion a year for medical research. But at the same time, he acknowledges that whatever developments come from the US have to be affordable for other countries to actually implement. And the US accounts for 14% of global emissions, so even if it managed to get to 0 carbon emissions, there'd still be a long way to go. In a recent interview with Forbes, Gates says he has put $2 billion of his own money towards companies working towards 0 emissions. Two of the more well-known ones he's backed are Impossible Foods and Beyond Meat, both dealing with plant-based meats. His biggest bet has been on TerraPower, a nuclear power company with a reactor that uses depleted uranium as fuel. The company had been planning on building its first reactor in China, but the deal was blocked by the US government. Now the plan is to build a demonstration plant somewhere stateside, and the company received $80 million to do so from the Department of Energy. The other half will come from the private sector, mostly Gates himself. He's also created a fund called Breakthrough Energy Ventures and has investors such as Jeff Bezos, Vinod Khosla, John Arnold, and John Doerr putting in money towards 0 carbon companies. Gates says he hopes at the least his book will get more people talking about what needs to be done to save the planet. But a bigger measure of his success is whether the Biden administration takes up any of his proposals as official policy.
Bill and Melinda Gates are among America's largest private landowners, and we've talked about that. So they got this divorce here, but I thought this was interesting in this Market Watch article right here. It says, how much real estate does the Gates family own? The Gates family real estate holdings are vast. Their main home is a high-tech enabled mansion in Medina, Washington, nicknamed Xanadu 2.0 after the estate in the film Citizen Kane. The couple purchased the home for $2 million in 1988, but today its estimated worth is close to $170 million. Xanadu 2.0 is just the start of their real estate empire. The Gates own nearly 270,000 acres spread across 19 states, and most of that is farmland. Says this includes around 242,000 acres of farmland. The Gates family has spent millions of dollars over the past decade on horse farms in Wellington, Florida, and Westchester County, New York in particular. That is a lot of land, 270,000 acres spread across 19 states. That's ridiculous. That's a ridiculous amount of land. And Bill and Melinda Gates own it. And I really wonder what's going on with this divorce thing at this particular time right here. And I was reading a couple articles, but you remember when Joe Rogan had a problem with young people, specifically 21-year-olds, I think he mentioned, not taking the VAXX. He basically said, I don't know why they would. You know, you're healthy, you're strong, build your immune system. It doesn't make any sense why you would take it. And then everybody piled on Joe Rogan as kind of a projection for us all. It's like, we don't want Joe Rogan to say this kind of thing, which is common sense. It's like, if you're healthy and strong, why would you bow down at the altar of Jabbo? Why would you get that program, app, software of life? Why would you do that? Why would you submit yourself to that? Why would you submit yourself to something that is experimental and has to be placed under emergency use authorization and rushed? These are just questions. Hey, you got to come up with your own answers in life. If you want to bow down at the altar of Jabbo, that's on you. But why would somebody who's young do it? So you got a whole bunch of people that are against Joe Rogan for saying this, projecting from Joe Rogan to everybody else who might say something commonsensical like that. But then they never stop and ask themselves. They sit there and go, is Joe Rogan a doctor? Does he have a medical degree? Does he have plaques on his wall? Is he a PhD? Nope, didn't think so. So shut up. But guess who else is not a PhD? Guess who else is not a doctor? Guess who else is not medically qualified to make decisions or suggest that people take any kind of medicine? Bill Gates. Hello, is anybody home? Why is everybody jumping on Joe Rogan, projecting his common sense statement onto the entire world, saying if you make that statement right there, well, you're not a doctor, you're not a physician, you're not a pharmacist, you're not in the medical field, you're not a nurse, shut up. Why isn't anybody telling Bill Gates, you're not a nurse, you're not even a medical assistant, you're not even a DO, let alone an MD or a PhD? Why don't you shut up, Bill Gates? We don't want to listen to you. That's the power of propaganda. Everybody just submitting. Why would we listen to a guy who couldn't keep a virus off your computer, who says he's going to keep a virus out of your body? The whole world's brains have just gone to mush.
Thousands of people are now struggling to put food on their table.
A sea of cars jammed into a parking lot in San Antonio. More than 10,000 families waiting their turn at a local food bank. Similar scenes are taking place in cities across the country. In Pittsburgh, the line of motorists stretches more than a mile.
I tell people my sister moved out west. You're a science teacher. Your husband, he renovates houses. You're thinking about moving, but you're gonna wait until the interest rates go down.
That's not my story. Before I was an Avenger, I made mistakes. And a lot of enemies.
His call sign's Taskmaster. He controls the Red Room. They're manipulated, fully conscious, but no choices.
I should have come back for you.
How many others are there? Enough.
have to go back to where it all started. So they never do that to anyone again.
We're a family. We fight with you.
You won't win. I've always found it best not to look into the past. Okay, you got a plan, or shall I just stay duck and cover?
My plan was to drive us away.
Well, your plan sucks.
At some point, we all have to choose between what the world wants you to be and who you are. I made my choice. I'm done running. Here's what's gonna happen.
Natasha, don't slouch.
I'm not slouching.
You're going to get a back hunch.
Listen to your mother.
Oh my God, this.
Up. Listen.
All right, enough. All of you.
I didn't say anything. That's not fair.
You guys that do not own me, I'm not your property. It's illegal.
You're under arrest right now.
For what? What charge? What's the charge? For what charge?
Now you're reasonable, please.
What is the charge?
It doesn't matter.
Yes, it does. Do you have no compassion in your life?
You're under arrest.
What for?
Doesn't
What is the
matter.
charge?
Okay.
It matters to me. It's my life, and that is my wife.
That's right.
And I am at peace with every man in the nation, and you men are violent. And this needs not to be. All I did was change my name, and your evil witch queen says it's not allowed to be.
You're resisting.
I am resisting your aggressions against me in favor that they are illegal. And I am not your property, and I have changed my name, and I am not a criminal, and I am never in crime, and I'm at peace.
You understand you're under arrest?
I am understanding less of anything that you say. I do not speak your language. I am less than I am in your kingdom. I do not belong to you. I belong to my Father in heaven, and his name is Yahweh! 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 I call in prayer and invoke the angels and archangels in favor of protection, that it be then heaven's bless, that I have less that I am in their hands, but that it is I am at peace with my Father in heaven, and I am in bless in life. And I favor that you are illegal in your actions. And I call on the compassions of the universe in favor. And I say it is less that I can be. I am a poet and an artist. And I sing a song less for you. 7 ways less the boys in blue. I favor less the thunder in your ears. I'm 7 ways it's less I shed your tears. I'm favored in the way I am less to you today. I'm less that I would favor anything I savor in the day. I'm favored in the bliss, it's less I see. Favor less the way it's less. The boys in blue for me. I'm favored in the day. I am a man of might. It's less that I belong to you. It's less that I would fight, but it's less that I would marry you. Favor less, it's less you're bright. I am the man who is less than me. 7 ways favored in the song I sing from sea to sea. I favor less, it's less I name you Jubilee. Jubilee, Jubilee downtown, favor off. It's less I turn my head and cough for you. I am a Jew. I belong.
There's no need to use a taser.
He is illegally tasered.